Hello everybody, welcome back. Let's have a look at Bitcoin and then assume the price of altcoins will follow that. It's probably the best thing to do because the dominance chart's still rallying on high. I'm not really sure as it's ready to get rejected at any of these particular areas until we reach... My view is, minimum 62, but probably closer towards 64% dominance. We'll be looking for a rejection around there and probably an alt season that might happen towards the end of this month into December and just, I suppose, similar to 2021 in a way, might be starting next year with a big bang. Operative word being might. There is a bit of a, before we go to Bitcoin, there is a bit more to that. We've got trend signal on the total 2 now, which is really strong. So this is an Ichimoku Cloud trend signal, one of my all-time favorites, followed with a golden cross on exponentials down here. Simples will take place probably within the next 5 to 7 days. So that would be pretty nice. Also, expect pullbacks. You will get pullbacks like we saw yesterday. Look, I mean, Coinbase, CleanSpark, the crypto stocks, they pull back dramatically. So these are the sort of things that we'll be looking to see for altcoins. So choppy, very choppy, and I'm going to propose a larger pullback on Bitcoin in the context of a nice trend, though. So just let's get it straight. This isn't crazy. So that's good. Total 2 is good. Dominance chart shows promise. Let's have a think about Bitcoin. The unstoppable force. Now, where is the immovable object being the major resistance? Where is it? Well, it's hard to establish exactly where it's going to come from, but there is on this 4-hourly, 1, 2, and possibly today might be a third drive of bearish divergence on the 4-hourly RSI and on the money flow index. So that might mean we're going to get a bigger pullback on Bitcoin, which could be a bigger pullback on altcoins, which would be a buy the dip. In my opinion, this is not a top. I wouldn't consider this a top. Best ways to navigate tops for Bitcoin is usually an extended or overextended money flow index. So it is quite high. I mean, let's just recognize what it is. I'm not trying to... This isn't bubble pop territory, but this has gone up fast, right? Since that higher low, which normally helps us navigate the bottom of any chart, really, but especially for Bitcoin, we've seen that in the past. We've got the higher low here, marking off this rundown, this candle body low, and that's where we've ricocheted from. So I'll tell you what, we're just going to draw this in just for fun, because now we've just got another way to say we got the low, we got the low, we got the top, we got the low, we got the top, we got the low. So maybe what we should think about if we're ever going to navigate the bull market top would be classic single drive, bearish divergence, weekly monitor index. Sometimes it's, when you think about it, you can buy sort of some indicators people charge thousands for, they do. Somebody out there said, buy this indicator, it's gonna change the way you trade for life. It's gonna be the best thing you ever spent. It's only $10,000, but the returns are gonna be exponential. All right, well, I'll be fine, thank you, because I know it's hard to navigate an absolute peak, but at least the simple methods get the all-time lows and the all-time highs. Yeah, it's on a weekly, but when we're talking about a weekly chart, if you got out around this area, recognize that, all right, that looks a little toppy. The lowest you would have exited based on that is around 57. I think I got out around the mid-50s. Anyway, let's forget about that. This is Patreon talk. And again, speaking of Patreons, I'm doing live streams every night this week, so another one tonight and another one tomorrow night as a special treat. Considering the price action is so crazy, it's kind of good to do as well. Good to look at all the charts, loads of charts I would never normally look at, so it's good for all of us. Right, so Bitcoin 4-hourly bearish divergence looking like it probably will spark a bigger pullback than the ones we've seen. And if I was to assume a large pullback on this one, I'd be looking for a pullback into the upper 70s, really, into this box, be about 16%. Now that will cause a lot of people to think that you're wrecked and it's never going to come back to life. But one of the things I was trying to point out yesterday on the stream was that actually that's pretty normal. We saw big pullbacks on the way up when we finally broke out of this range, this $8,000 to $12,000 range, really. And this is before the bull market went crazy. If we were to have bought that peak and come down to a golden cross retest, it's a 22% move. Look what happened afterwards. All the way up. These are normal, it's standard, it's absolutely acceptable. And if we were to see that for Bitcoin, perhaps pulling back into the $77,000 at 16, Bollinger Band centers 17, 18, I wouldn't really expect much lower than that based on what we have at the moment. But you can imagine what that would do to most people's confidence in the market. It would destroy it, and you could also imagine what it would do to altcoins as well. It would wreck those charts. But this is going to be the nature of this period of a bull market. You have these massive moves up and massive moves down. Just try and imagine that. If you're new to it, I'm trying not to be patronising. This isn't about that. Some people, I'm assuming, this is your first bull market, so you might not be prepared for that kind of thing. But that's what you ought to be prepared for. Huge moves up, huge moves down. Your portfolio might have doubled, and then suddenly it'll be halved, and then it'll double again, and then it'll be halved. This is just the nature of it. Okay, so how it's going to go. The idea is that we focus on the larger aspect of time and patience. What do they say? Time in the market is better than timing the market, although you do want to time the market to an extent, otherwise you'll get wrecked. You know, this has always been our general projection. This is your total 2, this is what we think is going to happen, and it seems as though it is happening now. So a pullback can easily happen, and then continuation throughout next year. Just wanted to put it to you that nothing has changed. Nothing has changed since the bull market of, or should I say, not the bull market, but the alt season of last year. We got that. The consolidation of this year, we got that. The breakout of this year so far, we got that. And then I'm expecting continuation. So nothing has changed in over a year now. All of these moves more or less predicted. Maybe not to the day or roughly the month, but within the quarter at least, within the quarter. Or should we say within the season. We've more or less nailed it the whole time. So I'm expecting to continue to nail it, to be fair. Right. So Bitcoin's continuing to march up. A new all-time high perhaps today, tomorrow, will spark the larger pullback and back down to the 80s, maybe even to the 70s. There's nothing to say that is guaranteed. I'm just saying, just be careful and be prepared for a move of that nature. Right. As far as altcoins are concerned, we're just going to focus on Ethereum. What's Ethereum doing? Well, it's got a trend signal. We were looking at this on the Patreon last night. Not just Ethereum, but loads of altcoins have got this. This is a good start, you see, because if you're looking for a kind of major alt season or a continuation of alts, these are the sort of setups that you want. Now, we've got an incoming golden cross. Looks like to me with this kind of trajectory, it's going to form towards the end of this week. That means that we have to find support or remain above 2,800 in order for this golden cross to take place. To see a retest of it after the cross takes place is kind of normal as well. So with a trend signal like this and a golden cross, what we'd be looking for would be a retest of that and then continuation. So if that were to happen, let's just measure that from where we are right now. That would be a pullback of 14%. It'd be a bullish retest so long as we hold it. If we go from higher, let's just say we make a new high today. If we make our way up to the 3,500 and pull back into it, that's going to feel particularly nasty. It's a 20% pullback. Most people would consider that wrecked. For us, we should consider that an opportunity. Ethereum's not the only one that's doing this. Loads of altcoins were doing this last night, and there's power in numbers. If you want to make a dent on the dominance chart, you kind of need to all band together and fight the good fight, which is all altcoins team up and rally together while Bitcoin either stays still or even better consolidates, and that creates a like a snowball effect where people holding Bitcoin will be like, well, hang on, I'm missing out on 10-20% daily. Here at the moment, in fact more than that, because my Bitcoin's consolidating, so I need to rotate, and then before you know it, you've sparked a chain reaction which causes an enormous alt season that should be long lasting, well, with a few months. We'll call it long lasting in the context of maybe a couple of months. So that's what we'll be looking for a little bit later, maybe next month, maybe next year, but it currently looks like that's the sort of situation. If we get these trend signals and these golden crosses, these are the starts of a major uptrend on a daily, where they start to get more and more powerful. So things are looking good. Things are things are appearing to favour the altcoin scenario, or at least altcoins aren't looking particularly bad. But be prepared for those 20% pullbacks, and again, that's just Ethereum. So if that does 20%, some of these other coins which really are just super volatile, you could see those do 30, 40, 50, 60% or so on a pullback before it goes back up again. Big moves up, big moves down. All part of the game. So don't be afraid of this period of the market. This, like I keep saying, is the fun part. We should have allocated most of our positions while in this accumulation phase, or just generally on the consolidation. And now that we're breaking out and we're building what looks to be like uptrends in the making, more will be confirmed towards the end of this week. That's when the real fun starts for the alts. But until then, Bitcoin marching up to make a new all-time high probably today or tomorrow, and then a larger pullback, and from there will come the opportunity to buy in. I can't narrow it down to an hour or even a day, but it will come, and if you're looking to allocate, it will be when that happens, alright? And it's quite likely to happen as far as I can see. So if you're waiting on the sidelines, you're being patient, you're fighting the FOMO, that's great. Just carry on with that fight, because the pullback will come, and we can think about Ethereum being a bit of an indicator of its own for altcoins. So long as Ethereum can hold above 2,800, altcoins should be good to go. You can use this as a barometer of health. You can also think about where Bitcoin's coming down to. Is it structurally sound for continuation, or is it breaking down at this point? I think the big pullback will come, and then we'll get straight back up and back in the game again. Altcoins are going to keep moving until this pullback happens, and then when it happens, just be prepared to pull the trigger if, of course, that is your own decision. I do not want to prescribe any method of trading for you. This is a crazy period in the market where you can get wrecked on both sides. Futures, derivatives, leveraged, I'd leave it alone. It's too crazy up, it's too crazy down. Some people wanting to know when and how to short the market. I would try to avoid shorting a bull market. If you're going to go leverage, you long bull markets at support. If you're going to go short, you do that in a bear market, really, or or a sideways market. You don't short a bull market. That's kind of crazy. You're asking for trouble. There's no reason for people to not make money in a bull market, okay? So try not to get too clever. Don't overtrade, and I would say just don't short it. There's just no point in shorting it, okay? Even though I'm looking for pullbacks, it's not where you want to make the money. You pull back into support, then long or buy or whatever. Right, that's all I have to say for this morning. Hopefully I'll see you tonight on the live stream. Links in the description below for the Patreon. And until then, hope you have a nice day. Take it easy.